Hello, today we are going to discuss the novel The Shadow Lines written by Amitav Ghosh. The novel highlights the fact that human race is divided by shadow lines drawn by persons of narrow outlook. The considerations of country, class, race, religion, etc. have put the people in fetters, but fortunately, human race continues its strife for freedom. The story of the Shadow Lions is an effort in the direction of making people free of all baneful customs and beliefs which have divided the human race. It is the story mainly of two families of Mr. Justice Chandrasekhar Datta Chaudhary and Lionel Tressa Sen, who became friends despite the fact that they belong to different religions, races, and regions. Lionel Tressa Sen left his native village called Mabe in southern Cornwall to work as an overseer in a tin mine in Malaysia. Then he went all over the world: Fiji, Bolivia, the Guinea coast, Ceylon, working in mines, warehouses, or plantations, doing whatever work came his way. The turn of circumstances brought him to Calcutta and finally to Barrackpore, where he started a small factory of his own. When he was past his youth, he set up a homeopathic clinic in a village near Calcutta. In his old age, he developed interest in spiritualism and began to attend meetings of Theosophical Society in Calcutta, where he chanced to meet a number of leading nationalists. He also began to attend seances conducted by a Russian medium. He met Mr. Justice Chandrasekhar Datta Chaudhary in one of these seances and struck friendship with him, which was continued by the succeeding generations of the two families. Lionel Tressa Sen went to England, where his daughter married a man named Price, who had taught her in college. But Mr. Price was nicknamed as Snipe because his full name was S.N.I. Price. Mrs. Price had a son named Nick Price and a daughter named May Price. This family of Prices got settled in London, but they continued to have cordial relations with Datta Chaudharys. A family living in Dhaka had two sons, both of whom were lawyers by profession. After the death of the father, the elder brother failed to maintain unity in the family. Consequently, the walls were erected to divide the house, and the two families even stopped having any communication between them. The family of the younger brother had two daughters, Maya Devi and her elder sister. Maya Devi was married to Shaheb, who was in the diplomatic service of the government, and her elder sister was married to an engineer, but she became a widow at an early age of 32. She became a teacher in a school in Calcutta and retired from the post of the principal of that school. She had a son who started his career as an assistant manager of a firm and rose to be its general manager. Maya Devi was married to the son of Mr. Justice Datta Chaudhary with the help of her aunt Maya Devi. Maya Devi had three sons, Jatin, Trideep, and Robi. Jatin was an economist with the UN, and therefore he was transferred from one country to another, and Ila, his daughter, traveled to several countries with him. Chaudhary family, consisting of Shaheb, Maya Devi, their three sons, the eldest of whom, Jatin, and his daughter Ila, were an affluent and progressive family while Maya Devi's widow sister, who had been a teacher throughout, became conservative and reactionary, perhaps because she did not have the chance to see life in England and other countries, nor had she any interaction with the foreigners. The story of this novel is related by the unnamed grandson of Maya Devi's elder sister. He is the youngest person in the family and has been in contact with all the members of Chaudhary family, mainly Tridev, who is his friend, philosopher and guide, and also with his grandmother, who is rooted in old values. He has the required wisdom to observe and make comments on every character and incident. It will not be an exaggeration to say that he is the mouthpiece of the novelist himself. But he was born after much of the action of this novel had already passed. Therefore, the incidents are narrated not in the chronological order but in a strange intermixing of the past and present. The narrative begins in 1939 when the Second World War broke out and ends in 1964 when violence erupted in India and Pakistan. In 1939, Tridev, the cousin of narrator's father, was 8 years old and was murdered in 1964 by a street mob in Dhaka, where he had gone to bring his mother's granduncle to India. The narrator was born in 1952, 13 years after Tridev was born, and Maya Devi had gone to England with her husband. The narrator therefore delves into history to sketch a character and comments on the contemporaneous events to highlight the attitude of the people. As I've told you earlier, this character has grown in close contact with his grandmother, whom he calls Thamma, and Tridev, cousin of his father. These two characters provide him with the opportunity to see for himself what is right and what is wrong. His grandmother thinks that Tridev is wasting time mixing with the loafers of the street corner addas, missing opportunities, and is a good for nothing fellow. Therefore, she has interdicted the narrator not to mix with Tridev, but the narrator makes his own observation to find that Tridev is a recluse, a scholar, doing PhD in archaeology with knowledge of far-off places, having intense power of imagination and can activate the imagination of others. Therefore, he does not miss the opportunity of meeting Tridev whenever he gets one. Eventually, Tridev becomes his mentor. He has his grandmother who has old and outdated ideas and attitude towards modern world. His grandmother thinks that a good man is one who works hard for his livelihood, as she has done, gets married and leads a settled and comfortable life at home without concerning himself with the social or political problems. Therefore, she condemns persons like Ila, who is living frugally in England, though she can have all the comforts at home. She fails to appreciate her aspirations. She thinks that one goes to the foreign countries only for money. She has asked the narrator not to have anything to do with such girls as Ila. But the narrator knows that Ila is a brave girl and a devoted wife. As the grandmother has lived an austere life of a Bengali widow, she does not approve of fashionable modern life of Saheb, her brother-in-law. The narrator takes opportunity to tell her that drinking, smoking and dressing in modern way is the necessity of the status and the job of Saheb. His grandmother wants that people should live in their own way according to the old code of conduct. Her grandmother has distanced herself from other characters by her old notions of life and morality. The shadow lines presents the universal truth that human society is divided into several sections and subsections, though human beings are the same in nature and emotions all over the world. Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs have shown exemplary unity time and again, but the fanatics have turned them into enemies. So is the case of nationalism. The home planet has been divided by national boundaries drawn on a map, but the cultural unity cannot be divided by these shadowy lines. People in Bangladesh and Bengal have regard for Tagore and other Bengali heroes. They have the same language, same dresses, and the same thought process. Bangladesh was carved out of Bengal, but this man-made division has not affected the cultural unity of the people. Bengalis are Bengalis in both the countries. Even religions cannot restrain people from being united, since love does not admit of any obstacles. The Chaudhurys and the Prices get united in the bonds of marriage in spite of their different religions. Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims show spirit of unity on several occasions. When Mui Mubarak, a hero prophet Muhammad, was brought to Kashmir and installed at the picturesque Hazrat Bal Mosque, Kashmiris of all faiths and religions, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, marched in thousands from every part of Kashmir to get a glimpse of the relic. They would flock to Hazrat Bal on the occasions when the relic was displayed to the public. Over the years, the shrine became a symbol of the unique and distinctive culture of Kashmir. 263 years after it had been brought to Kashmir, the Mui Mubarak disappeared from Kashmir. Thousands of people, including hundreds of waiting women, took out black flag demonstrations from Srinagar to Hazrat Bal Mosque. There were incidents of rioting, but the targets of rioters were not people, but government buildings. There was not one single recorded incident of animosity between Kashmiri Muslims, Hindus, and Sikhs. They ascribe this to the leadership of Maulana Masudi, who persuaded the first demonstration to march with black flags instead of green, and thereby drew the various communities of Kashmir together in a collective display of mourning when Mui Mubarak was recovered. The city of Srinagar erupted with joy. It was an example of brotherhood which dwells naturally in the hearts of human beings all over the world. Amitav Ghosh observes that the planet Earth is one entity. It is divided into states and countries and regions by politicians. Life goes peacefully and smoothly all over, except when a war breaks out. The narrator drew a circle with Khulna as the center and Srinagar on the circumference to discover that the map of South Asia would not be big enough. He drew another circle which had Milan as its center and 1200 miles as its radius. These circles revealed the truth that within this circle there were only streets and citizens. There were no people at all. Thus, the writer has proved historically and geographically that the world is a home of all the people. Only politics and politicians have divided it into small watertight compartments in which the humanity is being choked to death. Thank you.